Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Arcanum. Mr. Drake is all set to ask the King of the Wheel Clan about what exactly has happened to the Black Mountain Clan. So, without further delay, this is going to be a long one. Greetings, traveler. I'm sorry, I don't believe we've met. I'm Ranver Thunderstone, son of Logair Thunderstone. I stand as chieftain and king-in-waiting of all the dwarves, both over and under mountain in the lands of Arcanum. Welcome to the caverns of the Wheel Clan. Pleasure to meet you, Ranver. I have a few questions. Of course. What do you need? I come with news of a most dire nature. Dire nature? Of what are you speaking? I have a tale to tell, and then Mr. Drake tells him the entire story. I see. And you say you've been to the Isle of Despair to confirm the story of Gudmund Orbender? Yes, I was there and there was no sign of the Black Mountain Dwarves. This troubles me, my friend. We were given assurances by Alberic. Assurances? Bloody meddling, oh, blast them all to the dark depths. Blast who? The elves? What's going on here? This is an old and dark business, the business of my father, and as I am his heir, it falls to me to make it right. But I know not what to do. He's told me so little. What happened to your father, Ranver? My father, great and solid Logair Thunderstone, king of the dwarves. Do you know of him, stranger? The stories of his courage, of his strength, of his wisdom? My father, stone among stones. From out of the madness of the clan wars, he united us under one banner, under one king, through the sheer power of his will. And where is he, Ranver? What happened to him? It broke his heart, that heavy stone heart. He who warred against Lorik the Abjurer in the pass of Gorgoth, who in victory burned Lorik alive along with 10,000 of his dwarven followers. And this broke him like a child upon the stones of the world. Please, Ranver, I need to know what's happened here. It's as the Orbender told you. My father permitted the banishment of his own people, by the elves. He watched them sent away, heard their cries, with hardness born of 100 generations of Thunderstones. So where is he? My father came home, and upon his knees cried out for his lost, foolish brethren. Tears of regret, stranger. Regret, shame, and sorrow. The cavern shook with his fury, shook at the impact of his hands upon bare stone. He tore the clothes from his body and set his bulk against the walls and the floors, and the sorrow was marked in blood. And then? I told you. He left us, walked into the old caverns with nothing but Harrow, first axe of the Thunderstones, and with that weapon he disappeared, exiled by his own grief, and left the Wheel Clan. He's never returned. I'm very sorry. What did the elves have to do with this? The elves? It was they who demanded the banishment of the Black Mountain Clan for their crimes. But as for the reasons, as I said, I know very little. My father never told me the details of his discussions with them, only that what had been decided was necessary, and the responsibility would be his. What crimes? What had the Black Mountain Clan done? Technology, manipulation of natural force, the stone and gear works that make men gods. This, our legacy, given into the hands of reckless children. And the disease has spread, and the cost, stranger, the bloody cost. Goodman did speak of Gilbert Bates. Bates? It was Bates who spread the technology and its disease. And who are we to blame him? Humans. Cursed with brevity, lacking patience, lacking discernment. I've spent human lifetimes deciding on what type of stone to use in a mural, and look what they've done in only a few turns of the moon. And with this, these elves came to us, speaking of punishments. And what did the rest of the clans say about this? The other clans never knew that elves were involved in the banishment. They were only told that the Black Mountain Clan had been exiled, punished for their crimes, and my father was the only one present when their sentence was passed. And the elves who approached him, who were they exactly? I've no idea, and I know not why my father felt it necessary to speak with them or to heed their demands. As king, my father never should have allowed them to interfere, but for some reason he allowed it. He's never spoken a word about it since. It seems I'll have to speak with Loghaire. Where is he, please? I told you, he exiled himself. He walked into the dredge and has never returned. The dredge? What's that and where can I find it? The dredge is an old system of caverns, a mine actually, not far from here. The entrance is just beyond the entrance to these chambers and to the southeast. There you'll find a stone archway. Beyond that you'll find the dredge into which my father disappeared. And what can I expect to find in this, dredge? Right now it serves little purpose but to house an assortment of foul creatures. There are minecart tracks and an occasional storeroom, but no one ventures there anymore, so I don't know anything beyond that. Oh, now, Ranver, you must know where he is. Can I convince you to tell me? Why would you think that? If a dwarf wants to be alone, then a dwarf stays alone. Well, I'm confused. Why exactly was your father so shamed? That's a complicated discussion, friend. A very long one that I'm not sure you'd fully be able to understand. Well, I believe my mental powers are up to the task. Perhaps you're correct. Fine. My father's reasons for leaving are tied up in ageless tradition. Truly, in his opinion, he had no option other than to leave his clan. He was only doing what he saw to be his only choice. You spoke about dwarven tradition. Of which ones are you speaking? Perhaps tradition is the wrong word. Philosophy might be a better one, though we dwarves rarely consider ourselves philosophers. A philosophy, as most know it, infers a certain amount of subjective opinion and a particular open-mindedness towards other trains of thought. What I speak of is something different. What exactly are you referring to? I'm talking about the stuff of dwarven souls, the tenets we live by, and our moral fiber, though morality plays no part in it. Not morality as most know it, anyway. What I speak of, friend, is what is known as the stone and the shape. Continue, please. To be a dwarf, what does this mean? Our character is defined through the immovability, the solidity of stone. We dwarves see the soul not as something ephemeral or transient, but as rooted in this reality as the mountains from which we carve our homes. Do you understand? Clearly, you're speaking about some kind of dwarven commonality. Yes, I speak both metaphorically and literally. We are dwarves, and there is much about us that is like the stone. We feel no more at home than when it surrounds us, and it carries to us the roar of great molten flows, or the slow whine of subterranean ocean rivers, or, when all is quiet, mountain whispers so steeped in age that even the stars were young when they were first spoken. And so? And so, to understand this is to understand a part of what makes us dwarves. These loves are immovable and unchangeable, and so we are like the stone. I see, but what about the shape? The shape is what forms us, what defines our being and our purpose and the things we say and do. As there are many types of stone, so there are as many shapes. Granite for bricks, and shale for oil stones, and marble for statues, and crystal for the fragile and the precise. Wait, is it the shape that defines what the stone becomes? This is the most important concept. One cannot exist without the other. To a certain degree, shape does define what stone becomes. Flint makes a good striking stick, but the reverse is just as true. You can't make a good striking stick without flint. Shape arises from stone, but stone is dependent upon shape. Do you understand? I want to make sure I understand all of this. It's perhaps stated most simply in this way. As slate will flake and crack under the sculptor's chisel, so will a dwarf who knows not his purpose, knows not his shape. I understand. Interesting. So, in terms of your father... My father left us because he felt he had betrayed both his stone and his shape. He felt that allowing the elves to banish his brethren was a betrayal of his stone. That same act was also a betrayal of his shape, being king of the dwarves. Without either, he was empty. And what about Lorak the Abjurer, whom your father fought so many years ago? Lorak was a dwarf who had betrayed his stone. He believed that his clan was better than those of other dwarves, and because of this, that only they were fit to rule. Anyone who opposed him was put to death. His words were evil, but he spoke them well.
Many a dwarf followed him, and many more died because of it.
So, Lorek's stone was flawed. His shape could be no different.
Well spoken, my friend. You've wisdom beyond your years.
And your opinion of your father's choice?
There are times, my friend, when the choices we are forced to make cannot be true to both the shape and the stone. I've thought long and hard about this issue, and I have not the answers. But I know my father is a dwarf among dwarves. There's a saying among us, weigh your own stone. It's not a thing for me to decide.
Thank you, Ranver. I feel I better understand your father now.
No, thank you, my friend. Few are the outlanders who would even care to ask. It's good that I've shared these things with you today.
Can we continue our previous discussion, please?
Certainly. Where were we?
Well, you're his son. I'd assume you'd have gone, looking for him.
And why? He left me here to rule the kingdom, and rule it I will. What sort of a son would I be to go running around in the dark looking for a father who doesn't care?
And what has he left behind for you, Ranver?
For me, he's left a crumbling clan, its people confused and frightened at the changes in our world, hurt by the abandonment of their clan father and king, and it falls to me to hold this together.
Well, you've done your best, Ranver. Your father would be proud.
But I'm so very young. My people's respect for me stems more from my name than from my experience. Still, a handful of lodestone weighs more than an armful of pumice. He tells me that, he used to.
I knew it. Now you've seen him, Ranver. Where is he, please?
What? Are you calling me a liar? I tire of speaking, stranger. I wish you the best of luck, but I can give you nothing more.
Ranver, I'm only trying to find the truth.
Truly? The stakes are very high in this game we play. How am I to know the bedrock upon which rests your soul?
Trust your feelings, Ranver. I seek to throw light on all of this.
I believe you, stranger. I truly do. I just might be able to point you in the right direction.
Any help you'd give would be most appreciated.
I must admit it, you're correct. I do see him, almost every day, although he says very little. He lives deep within the dredge, but I have a hidden passage through which I travel, and within it, you'll encounter no trouble. Just enter here. There's a secret passage under the throne. I trust you, stranger. Find your answers. Do what's right. I pray he will tell you what you need to know.
I'll most certainly try. Thank you for all your help, Ranver. And with that, Ranver has revealed a secret passage underneath the throne, which is going to lead directly to Logair, king of the dwarves. So Mr. Drake will be able to skip crawling his way through the system of dungeon called the Dredge, which is about as large as the Black Mountain Mines. To do this, your character needs to show some sympathy when Ranver talks about his father and the whole dwarven philosophy of the stone and the shape. And in order for your character to grasp the ideas related to the stone and the shape and that philosophy, I think your character needs to only have an intelligence of 10 or so. So, your character doesn't have to be Carl Sagan to grasp it. And it's probably worth doing if you don't like dungeon crawls. Anyway, that was really long, so we are out of time. When we return, Mr. Drake will descend the passage and will be in the room with Logair Thunderstone, king of the Wheel Clan. So until then, as always, thank you for watching and please stay tuned.